All right, so y'all have had some pretty magical days. Today, the theme was
I'm so
the
sorry.
80s. What was that? Is that a valuable piece of information or just like an audio nugget that leaked? I'm going to assume it was the latter of the two. So y'all have been working hard on your projects for Hackathon today, and I am excited to see some cool 80s themed projects. Now, you could have taken 80s and done whatever you want with it. It could have been about a senior citizen home. It could have been about the time period. It could have just been exclusively about onesie ski wear. Whatever it was, I'm sure y'all had some awesome ideas. I'm excited to get this show on the road. So, first up, we're just going to go right in the order in which the groups were assigned. So, first up, we've got Nate, Will, Marissa, and Jamin. Everybody give them a hand.
Woo!
Hello.
Hello.
So just to get us introduced, we did a iconic 80s artist kind of, I guess I should set the scene here. We are setting out to do our own MTV based in the 80s only through YouTube, okay? So Jamin and Marissa, if you want to talk about the back end.
Sure. So we started with a Rails backend and incorporated an artist class and page and included that artist name and that image. And then we wrapped that into the front end with React.
Yeah, so then coming into the front end, we created cards for each of the artists. And I think Will is going to talk about some styling real quick.
Yeah, we had a wireframe set up. We really wanted to have a header here. We had a logo to go in there. And then the cards kind of were assigned their own little box. We used a flex wrap with a row to get everything displayed as such. As Nate mentioned, it kind of started off as like a YouTube for MTV. We actually found a pretty helpful module. Nate, if you want to show them in the console at this point, the stuff that we were starting to get back from that module.
Yeah, so the whole idea behind our app is that you can click on an artist card and it will search YouTube and return video results for that artist that you can then play, and you can stay in the 80s as long as you're in the app. And so we didn't get the display of the videos yet, but we do have all of the actions. So if we click Rick James here, now let's click Rick Astley. Now we get YouTube search results back. And if we look at we get the thumbnails, Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley is our first video. So this works for all, well, not sure what's going on there, but you get the idea of the functionality here that we're getting these YouTube search results, and the idea was that we would eventually display them in another component for the user to watch.
Well, I thought that was sick. Everybody give them a round of applause. Does anybody have any questions for them?
Wait, refresh it and try it again.
Yeah, at a point we're actually getting the links out to the YouTube pages. I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah. Okay.
I saw in Tech Questions you guys posted a question about refreshing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just be like that. Does anybody have?
Did you guys use an API? Well, I guess you guys did, but like what API did you guys use? That's my question.
Well, actually, we had to create our own.
Yeah. Whoa. So you guys seeded all of these?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is it just like what name, image, and then like the YouTube link?
See that, and then we did the YouTube search module as well.
It's using
Whoa.
the YouTube API v3, Alexander.
Ooh, fun. Thank you.
Alrighty. Good job, y'all. Next up, we've got Alex, Jeff, Lou, Chris, and Mel. Give them a round of applause. Let's get it.
Guys, it just felt like a couple minutes ago where it wasn't our turn.
Okay,
This is
so
wild.
so before we start the song we got for you, we are the CNFC, aka Chuck Norris fan club. So we were inspired by his roundhouse kicks and overall badassery. So we created a page dedicated to sharing with the world all the best Chuck Norris jokes.
In the eyes of a ranger, the unsuspecting stranger had better know the truth of wrong from right. 'Cause the eyes of the ranger are upon you. Any wrong you do, he's gonna see. When you're in Texas, look behind you. 'Cause that's where the ranger's gonna be.
Oh my God.
We just felt like it was important to show that at the beginning to put you guys in the right mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So this is our Roundhouse Jokes app. We built a backend with Rails. We actually found an API of Chuck Norris jokes that we brought in, and just seeded a database with that in the backend using Rails. And then the front end, Jeff is going to talk about. Maybe.
It looks like Chuck Norris got to him.
There we go. All right. Yeah, I think it's important to refresh too, because there's some CSS magic that happens. Oh yeah. All right. So yeah, we created the backend in Rails, seeded it with our Chuck Norris API, and the front end was created here in React with this 80s styling. And the one feature is that when you click on the quotes, it cycles through a list of like 900. So we get all sorts of stuff. Like MacGyver can build an airplane out of gum and paper clips. Chuck Norris can kill him and take it.
Oh my gosh.
Chuck Norris doesn't read books. He stares them down until he gets the information he wants. And we can keep going 900 times.
Should I talk about some of the CSS styling then?
Go for it.
So, wow, what a journey. It was. We had so many great ideas, from neon to, I don't know, was it Ninja Turtles and stuff like that? But Mel found a really good, just like simple 80s color palette, which was really great. So we just used that. And then I jokingly got this idea of using, like, actually recreating like our background from the opening as reference material. And then we kind of made it a joke too, and it actually works out very well because the whole theme song is about Texas Walker, Chuck Norris watching you. And we also made, can you guys guess the literary reference of the all watching eyes from high school? Maybe you read Great Gatsby, which was kind of cool. Anyway, that's pretty much it. And then Lou, I think, has some like really cool facts about Chuck Norris.
His first name is actually Carlos. That's about all I got.
Also, he is not dead.
My mind is blown just by the fact that his first name is really Carlos. I cannot believe it. Also,
Game changer.
I want to take a second to appreciate all of y'all's backgrounds on your videos. That really made the presentation even more extra. So thank you for that. Everybody give them a round of applause. Does anybody have any questions for them?
Can somebody drop the API link, please? Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Those are Chuck Norris horns.
That counts as a question, a roundhouse question. Anything else? All righty, great job. Next up, we have Ariel, Kat, Phil, and Nate. Dusky. Let's get it.
All right, I gotta share my screen. Give me just a minute here. The sun is in my eyes. All right, cool. Share screen. Nope, not what I want to share. Cool. All right. So the year is 1983. Communism is strong in East Berlin, East Germany. And our comrade here has received some wonderful communist text to peruse and look over for the sake of the motherland. Welcome, comrade. This is the point we would click it. However, we didn't get that working, so we pretend. And where does it take our comrade to learn more? Ah, actually, that was all a ploy to get it across border control. Actually, this is for our citizen to watch some Jane Fonda workouts. So let's put in our secret alias here. Oh, actually, you know what? We need to sign up. So Ariel2 password. All right, let's go ahead and enter and see what our citizen finds. Only all of their favorite 1980s jazzercise workout videos. Okay, team, everyone else needs to talk to you.
So yeah, we started with a Rails backend, and we seeded our database with a really big API that had a bunch of cool like workout information on the back of it. From there, we created like a couple of like relationships, you know, just like get everything working on the front end, and then we wrapped everything in React, right?
Does Kat want to speak on the amazing
Sorry, we were working on doing a favorites function. We have our favorites model set up in the back end, but we just ran out of time to get that up and running on the front end.
Yay.
Still had to keep all our workouts in German.
Yes.
And that's our story, and we're sticking with it.
Excellent job. Does anybody have any questions for that?
I definitely have a question. All of those exercises, like the images, looked 80s as shit. Like, where did those come from? Why none of them look modern? They all look like straight out of an aerobics class.
Yeah, so we put in images, like we just filled out our own array. This was not, the images didn't come with the API. So we just filled an array with like random GIFs and then populated it randomly. That's why some of them are like the same in a row, you can see, so.
Nice work. All righty. Next up, we've got Luke, Colton, Nick, and Tara. Everybody give them a round of applause.
All right. So, you guys seeing this? This is our 80s movie and beyond app. Basically, you can come in here and you can go to your site and you can see 16 movies from the 80s. And if you like any of these movies, you can click on suggested movies and you can pull up a bunch of different movies from the API that are suggestedly similar to the movie that you'd picked. So it's pretty exciting stuff. We basically just used the Rails backend. We seeded the 16 movies from the database. And then we connected the movies database that we used on the suggest card. And that's what's generating. It's just generating a page from those suggested movies from the same movie if you put in that ID.
Right. It's the movie database. And so, yeah, we had the 16 movies that we started with that we hand selected and then used that API to pull the title and these posters and the text. And then on the front end, well, these guys can talk about the front end, but they hit that same API, but it had a different endpoint for recommendations. And so that's what gets pulled in. And, you know, the incredible 80s styling here, including the poor usability, that's totally period. We're just being authentic. That's all. But Colton and Luke could talk more about the front end.
Yeah, so we basically just did a React front end, pulled from our backend. So in the backend, we just seeded 16 movies manually. And then on the front end, we're able to make fetch calls to the database based on suggested films. So it does this like search and it'll find movies that are like similar and then give you a bunch of other movies that are similar to the movies from the 80s.
And there's a couple features that we didn't get working that we wanted to include. And one of them was incorporating hairstyles that are corresponding to the films that are shown on the pages. And then also a form once you first go to the website to enter your social security number and your credit card, just to make it a little bit more raw and suspicious looking.
All right, everybody give him a round of applause. And I agree that Bowie was very mesmerizing. What a mesmerizing GIF. GIF? Can we have a vote on that one?
Yeah, right the first time.
Okay.
GIF. It's GIF.
I feel very strongly that either is okay. It's like data or data. You can handle both pronunciations on that word. Other words can be the same way. Just throwing that out there.
Well, does anybody have any questions for them? Maybe about their GIFs? Going once, going twice.
Wait, what's Tara's favorite 80s film off the top of your head?
Die Hard.
Perfect. That's all that matters. Thank you.
Awesome. All righty, another round of applause. Nice work. And next up, we've got Cho, Roz, Adam, and Kyle. Let's get it.
Hello. Sorry, I'm still a little, what do you call it? I'm still kind of laughing at the Chuck Norris API because I just found out who Chuck Norris is. So yeah, having a little fun with that. Cool. Let's see. Well, so the way that we're going to do this, we're going to let Kyle and Adam tell us about their experience with the backend. And then Cho is going to be nice enough to tell us how he got everything working in React. And I was unfortunately in charge of the styling. So let's go.
Yeah, so you can't, so we have a backend of users. Unfortunately, you cannot see those users. We ran into a couple road bumps, as I'm sure everyone else did. But luckily, this was all about working as a team, which is exactly what I learned about today.
That's right.
Yeah, so we were hoping to do like a user and be able to save some favorites and stuff. We just hit a couple of road bumps on that, pulling the API down on the front end of things. But once we got it rocking and rolling and 2 hours of GitHub later, we had some React up and rocking and rolling, which Cho can talk about.
Yeah, basically the front end was pretty simple. We linked it to a cryptocurrency API, and then we pulled in basically just the top 100 names and the prices. So it is dynamic. So every time you refresh, it will refresh the prices as well. And then we added these great styling thanks to Razia over here. Look at how 80s it is. We got the neon themes. We got the in your face boxes. Look at this shit. It looks amazing. Excuse me for my language. Not really. Let's go.
Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We were going to have it where you can log in and see all of this information and stuff, but We only had 4 hours, okay? So just like, yeah, anyways, but we did great. We spent a lot of time debugging and spent a lot of time learning about GitHub. And yeah, that was our project.
Great job. I actually am going to start off with my first question, which is how did you do that CSS effect?
Which one? Are you talking about the one where it like lights up?
Yeah, the glowy transition
thing. So you need to do filter on your card and then increase the brightness by like 5,000%.
Whoa.
And then boom.
Well, that looked awesome.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions? Someone's going to have some other questions. Going once. Going twice. Sold to nobody. All right. Great job, though. That was awesome. Yeah, that was siren worthy. All righty. And next up, we've got Nate Fedson, Obina, Steven, and Diana. Everybody, give them a round of applause. Let's get it.
Okay, hey everyone. So our app's called, can everyone hear me? Can anyone hear me?
We can. You're good. Golden.
All right, right on. So yeah, our app's called Acceptable in the 80s. So, you know, we had a couple goals. We really wanted to nail that vintage correct web design. And we, you know, since most of us weren't alive in the 80s, it's like, you know, maybe it's difficult to visualize what the average fashion was back then. So we made this app to remedy that. So basically the idea is, you know, you're waking up, you're like, okay, how do I look acceptable in the 80s? And then, well, first you gotta wear a top. Everyone's gotta cover up their torsos. So you got some options: silk button-up shirt, plain white tee if you're a simple person, and then you know, you got options. Well, neon spandex top. Oh, okay. And then you got to think about your bottoms, right? Okay. Got some magenta hot pants. How does that look with the spandex top? Pretty good. You got to think about socks. You know, we got some black cashmere thigh highs, some neon leg warmers, or maybe you don't. You know, maybe no socks. Maybe it's a no sock type of day. And then, yeah, you need shoes, probably, if you're going to go outside, which I guess most of us don't. But yeah, so that's the idea. Does anyone have anything to add about the functionality?
Yeah, I'll take over since you ended up walking through everything. We ended up only seating 3 of each in the back end. We were running into some issues with state and React. We wanted to add some music, but ran out of time at the end there. But yeah, this is about what we got. Obina or Diana, you want to talk about backend or some of our problems?
Yeah, so one of the major problems we had was trying to figure out how to loop through the backend, like gets the button to work with the changing the clothing. But we eventually were able to get it to work with the help of John. It was a 30 seconds fix. Yeah, that was the most issue we had on the front end.
Back end, we just used Rails. We ended up seeding everything. And then one of our biggest issues that we had was just like the model relationships. And we figured that out, so. Yeah.
That's our app.
Awesome job. Does anybody have any questions for them?
How'd you guys come up with this idea?
Nathan had divine inspiration.
We got on the topic of clothes, and then I was thinking of like creating your Sims character, like choosing the clothing for them. So that's where I kind of got that idea from, like the old school, like basic build your character kind of games.
Please tell me at least one of you has seen Clueless.
Yes.
Yes. So that's like, this is the app that they're like, this is the future. And you made it. You made the future now. We're supposed to be like, where like
short hours.
This would have been amazing in the 80s.
All right, great job. That was awesome. What he said. Next up, we've got Jack, Grant, Pong, and Marnie. Give them a round of applause.
Okay, I unmuted. Sorry, I was talking there for a while. Does somebody else want to walk through it and I'll just guide it?
Yeah. So this is Rad Records. It's the ultimate place to look up your favorite 80s bands and also save some records into favorites. So we can search for an artist in all caps for some reason.
It doesn't have to be in all caps.
That's not the functionality. Yeah, I was just joking. So you can select any of those albums. You can go to their website on
let me go
last.fm.
This will take you to the last.fm site for that album. And then, sorry. Keep going, Grant, sorry.
Yeah, and then so you can click on one and add it to your favorites. And then you can click that toggler button to see some bodacious tunes and see all your favorite albums.
And you can remove them as well. Another thing we did was we made it, what's the word I'm looking for? Responsive. So it will, it'll grow and shrink as you work on it. But yeah, that's what we got.
We also have a little toggle button that takes you from your bitchin' bands, which are essentially your favorites. Or you can say, gag me with a spoon. I don't feel like looking at that anymore, and go and search some new bands. We were really going for the 80s nostalgia with the kind of record store vibe, like posters on the walls and album information like in your face. And I know it's just touching on the back end a little bit. That's kind of where Pong and I began with it, but we did it all together. We just made a simple back end by making an album class and an album which had an artist, album name, and a cover image. And then we seeded that to kind of play around. And we used those seeds for a long time just to play with the CSS and just experiment with that. And then eventually brought in an API.
Great job. Does anybody have any questions for them?
Did someone build that logo or like make it, design it?
No, that's just CSS.
Oh my God. It is so great. Wow.
Great.
Yeah, if you search for Jack found it, 80s typography like CSS, there's like a whole bunch of those different styles that you can just use.
It was all of the text. So everybody's backgrounds that they've got, whenever you see like a meme with these backgrounds and it's got the different kinds of text on the front, it was all of those texts. And then the CSS and HTML was just right there. It was like, yeah, like Grant said, it was like 80s typography or something like that.
Nice. Awesome. Great job. And we have one more group for all y'all. Last but not least, everybody give a healthy round of applause for Mary Beth, Sam, Reed, and Blake. Woo!
What up, guys? So we had the really unique and revolutionary idea to do movies from the 80s. So here's your blast from the past with that. We have all of these individual movie cards here with their 80s score, how 80s that movie is. And we have this cool hover animation. And I'll let somebody else from my group take it over.
Yeah, so the back end's pretty simple. It's just a movie and director model with a one-to-many. One thing we did that was kind of cool is we did a forward migration. We basically had our database all set up, and then we wanted to add in the trailer links. So we were able to pull that off. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
All righty.
If anybody else from our group wants to talk, they can, but that's pretty much it.
I screwed up and I gave Amadeus 80 score, but it could have more than 0 because it was in the 1680s. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah. One other neat thing is that little transition. See how it's scaling, but it's doing it slowly. I thought that was kind of neat. It's just some CSS we did.
Yep. There we go.
Great job. Does anybody have any questions for them? Sweet. So I want everybody here to pat yourself on the back and realize that there was not a single project today that wasn't way fucking cooler than my hackathon project when I was a Mod 4 student. So y'all crushed it today. Seriously, all of those were fucking sweet, okay? So like,
what was your hackathon project?
My hackathon project we called Banana Bag, and I freaked out on the front end doing React, and I basically had nothing but a header on my entire project. So I am not even exaggerating a little bit when I say all of these projects were insane and awesome. So everybody did a phenomenal job. Great job. Just throwing that out there. Awesome. So y'all know the deal. We're going to send out some surveys to y'all. I'm going to play some cool ass 80s music. You fill out your surveys. Reconvene at, let's say, 4:50. So that's 10 minutes? Good? Yeah.
Do your survey first. Do your survey.
Yep. I'll see y'all soon.